There we go. All right. A little bit of adjustments to make. A low moon this time of year. Oh, that looks good. Welcome to a live astronomy tonight, everyone. My name's Nate. You are looking at a live view of the moon through an 8-inch Dobsonian telescope. Large telescope. It's about 4 feet long, 8-inch diameter. And I have a little phone mount that hooks onto an eyepiece that holds my phone up there. And this is a mobile live. And you guys are looking through my telescope. Hi. Hi, everybody. And so if you like space and live astronomy, I do post videos. I post the replays of the lives, and then I do a lot of shorts and stuff. Consider subscribing. But welcome in, everyone. And the moon is looking fantastic tonight. I am trying to spot Mars, but it might be below the tree line. Now, just to the right of the moon tonight, you'll see a star. If you hold out your fist, it's about one fist to the right of it. That's Spica. And if you look up from the moon and just to the right, there's a bright star off in the west, and that is Arcturus. And then if you look almost straight up in the sky, there's like a shiny blue diamondy looking star. That's Vega. How you guys doing? We got a gorgeous view of the moon tonight. We can zoom in a lot. We can get real close. So cool. You like space? Hi, Neptune. Where's everybody tuning in from? I'm in Pennsylvania. Hi, Dan. I got to redo some moderations. So apologies for that. We're having issues that anybody I had as a moderator on my YouTube lives could not see the comments of my posts on here. Weird glitch. So I'm removing the mods and then I'm putting them back. Then I'm trying to fix the glitch. Jupiter doesn't come out till just before sunrise, and I don't think I'll be out that late. I have an early day tomorrow. Maryland, nice. You can stay here for a little. Here you go, actually. Yep, Dan. And if you see like Becca or anybody, Dan, can you share this to the Discord? I did let them know, but I didn't give them a last minute heads up. Is there Venus or Mercury? Venus is a morning star right now. Yeah, you can see Venus in the morning just before sunrise. It's real bright in the east. It's gorgeous. Korea, welcome in. Georgia and the UK. Hi, guys. This is a live view of the moon through an Orion XT8 Dobsonian telescope. I know that's a mouthful, but basically 8-inch diameter telescope, about 4 feet long. They're known as they're known as Dobsonians because of the style of them, but they're basically a Newtonian, which is like just a big tube that you look in the side of, and there's 2 mirrors. There's a big main mirror in the bottom, and then where the eyepiece goes in on the side, there's a little secondary mirror that's like angled. So you look through that secondary, then down to the primary big one, then shoots out the end. And since it's so long, it collects a lot of light and has just incredible views for planetary, like the sun, the moon, the stars, and the planets. When doing the sun, though, we always put a solar filter on. You don't want to turn it into a low-key death ray, because you could get injured doing that. Yeah, where the light and dark meet right here, that is known as the terminator line, because it's where the dark terminates, it's where the light terminates. And now this does flip the image, so technically in the northern hemisphere, if you're looking up at the moon, the top portion on your screen is actually the bottom, but that's just the nature of the eyepiece and the telescope. Some telescopes don't flip it, a lot of them do. Look at all the details you get while the moon is waxing. See all those shadows? They just kind of, you just see so much more detail, you know? Whereas full, it's just like washed out. It all just looks like a solid color. But during the transitional phases like this on that terminator line, it's so cool. And a lot of people say they see different things on there. Do you guys see anything on there? Like shapes, people? Like there's the man on the moon, you know? But let me know if you see any cool shapes and what they look like. Mars is below the tree line. I tried to capture it in time, but it already set below the tree line here. Even the moon is real low in the south right now, and it'll set over in the west, but it's just such a low moon this time of year. Earth, please. Okay, I'm looking at Earth. It's pretty dark out here. You want me to do the sun soon? I can do the sun maybe tomorrow afternoon. We can go on the sun. It doesn't have it has a lot of sunspots, but they're all real small right now. So it's kind of underwhelming if you're looking for big sunspots. And I don't have hydrogen alpha, which is where you can see like all those details and it looks like crazy plasma, CMEs and stuff going off. I don't have the hydrogen alpha. I'm gonna get one soon though. Hi guys, where are you guys tuning in from? My name's Nate and I'm in Pennsylvania. And right now you're looking at a live view of the moon. Now, if you notice, you can see the other half of the moon still. You can see the earth shine. And it's called earth shine because it's the sunlight reflecting off Earth up to the moon and illuminating the dark portion. Isn't that cool? So you can see the other half of the moon there. It's just in shadow, but it's glowing a little, and that's called earth shine. Pretty cool. Mississippi. And you'll get that through the first quarter moon, which happens tomorrow morning at like 8:40 a.m. Eastern. But yeah, feel free to get a nice screenshot. Let me dial that in just a little bit better there. Get a good screenshot of our moon tonight. Maybe send it to somebody or share this live to somebody that is obsessed with the moon, I can't show you the flags on the moon. I wish I could, but I would need a gigantic telescope to be able to get that kind of resolution through our atmosphere. But I'll show you how far I can zoom in, okay? And then I'll talk to you about it. All right, check this out. All right, we're getting there. Now this is a manual telescope, and that movement you're seeing, that's Earth rotating. Okay, so see, once I get to a certain point, it's just blowing up pixels. Now those pixels, each pixel on your screen right now, about 5 miles across. Now imagine trying to get down to something the size of a flag. It'd just be nuts, right? But that movement you're seeing, that's from us rotating here on Earth. How cool is that? I love it because it kind of gives you vertigo, but it just puts things into perspective. And when you're looking through a telescope, it's just amazing. And now on my website and or my channel page here, check out my link tree. I do have a free telescope buying guide for everyone. It's really thorough. And if you know nothing about telescopes and have never done this before, but you're like, hey, that sounds kind of cool, just go check it out, read through it, see if this is something you might want to get into. It's extremely relaxing, you learn a lot, and I mean, listen to the peepers, come on. Getting out at night in the summer doesn't get better than that. Mars, I'm hoping to get Mars here soon because I think it might be going out of view a little bit. I just have to go live like an hour earlier, like 8:30, and I have to find it while it's still getting dark. It'll be a little tricky, so I'm gonna have to do Mars soon if we're gonna see it. And even if I don't go live with it, if I see it, I'm gonna capture a video of it. I'll probably try tomorrow for that, And then somebody else said they'd like to see some more of the sun. What kind of stuff do you guys want me to show you through the telescope in coming days and weeks? Because there's only certain things viewable in the Northern Hemisphere this time of year, But I'm down to like try things, I like a good challenge to try to share with you guys. Like just doing a live telescope that is manual and keeping it stable with you guys is a big challenge. Weather is perfect. Stars. We're gonna do some stars tonight, Queen. We're gonna do some stars. I want to do Spica, which is just to the right of the moon, and Arcturus, which is up and to the right. We probably won't go to Vega because it's a nightmare. It's like straight up, and I'm on a Dobsonian. It just gets really tricky. I'm like, it's really weird. But yeah, we'll do 2 stars tonight. We'll do Spica and Arcturus. Now, did Spica already have its occultation with the moon? I thought that was today. That was probably today, and it was just during the day or something, because it's real close to it. or we're just not going to be able to see it because it's still a fist away. Yeah, it's a fist away. Maybe it's still yet to happen. Maybe that's tomorrow night. Venus is the morning target. Yeah. Just before sunrise, if you look off to the east, you're going to see a bright star. That's actually Venus. And Venus is just shining so bright right now. Sirius A, please. I'll take note of that. You talkie a lot like same a woman. Norden, I'm not sure what that meant. Does anybody else know what Norden meant? What's your favorite thing to see? Jupiter. Jupiter's my favorite. It's so just to get the striations, and the moons are always moving, and sometimes you can get the shadows of the moon. It's easy to time lapse it, and to do astrophotography with it is so much fun. Yeah, Jupiter's definitely my favorite. Show us aliens that live on the moon. If I could show you aliens that lived on the moon, I would show you aliens that lived on the moon. But unfortunately, they've eluded me thus far, you know? They've just eluded me. It's like they know I'm looking. Right in the center of your screen, crossing the center of your screen, just above center is where Apollo 11 landed. So there's one of the landing sites. If you see this thing that I think it looks like a pointer, like a pointing hand, hold on, because we're moving. I'm gonna try to zoom into it. Okay, it's gonna come across, it's coming in right there. See, right there on the screen, see how that looks like a point going down? Right there in the center. That's Apollo 11 on that part of the Sea of Tranquility. C1 Atlas. Yeah, Jupiter rises just. Neptune is your favorite? Okay. All right, let's zoom out a little bit so you guys get a little more perspective, and we can see that Earth shine on the right part there, which is actually the left in the sky. But see, you can see the rest of the moon right now there. I wonder if we could zoom in on that. It gets kind of fuzzy, doesn't it? Yeah, doesn't know what to look at, but it's there. You can see it still. And you'll see that right through the first quarter moon. We might still see a little more tomorrow, but after the first quarter, since the phase of the moon is opposite the phase on Earth, so when we have a full moon and the moon is full, from the moon's perspective, the Earth is like new Earth, like dark Earth. And then when we have a new moon and it's completely shadow on our side of the moon, from the moon's perspective, it sees a full Earth. So they're like opposite each other. So we're getting dimmer with our Earth shine to the moon while it's getting brighter with its moon shine to Earth. Did anybody catch that? Understand that? Or was that too much blah blah? What is the farthest things you capture? Stars, by far. Stars, Orion Nebula, stuff like that. Stars are so much farther than the planets. I think live with you guys, I mean, we've seen countless stars that are just super far away, but I think there was one that was like 100 light years or more that we looked at once, which is pretty far. Does anybody know how far Arcturus is? I'm gonna guess 37 light years is what I'm guessing Arcturus is. 35 light years? 39? Somebody look up Arcturus, Arcturus, distance from Earth. Let me know. 42, Trev? 37, Dan? All right. So I was right with my first guess, 37 light years. Okay. 37 light years. You guys want to go look at Arcturus? 37 light years away. Put purple hearts in the chat if you would like to see a star right now and take a break from the moon for just a second and check out a star. Yes, sir. Yes. Purple hearts, they're flowing in. All right, guys. Looks like we're getting on a spaceship. Everybody grab your buddies. Oh, 36.6. Okay. All right, we're gonna zoom this all the way out so we know we're in focus for a star. All right, everybody got their buddies? We're hopping in the spaceship. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. There is Arcturus. Ooh, there's a star next to it. All right, dial that in. 37 years ago, the light on your screen left that star. What were you doing 37 years ago when the light left that star? I was 4 years old, probably playing in dirt. Now, if you see that light going opposite it, that's a little lens flare. But that is Arcturus. Now, something cool we can do with these stars is you can defocus it a little bit, and it kind of looks like a disco ball. You know what I mean? Wasn't even born. You were 3. So this is much further than the moon. The moon's like 400,000 miles away today, or kilometers, I forget. But watch the defocus. Ready? So you'll see people doing a lot of stuff like this to fool people on the internet, on live streams and stuff, and they're just pulling your chain. They're like giving you headlight fluid with it, you know, as mechanics joke around with. But yeah, isn't that cool? But that is Arcturus. Now there is a couple stars around it. If you see them, I don't know if they're coming through on here all right. I see a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars on the screen. But that one bright one up there. Pretty cool, right? Now let's head up to the handle of the Big Dipper, okay? We're gonna go up to the handle of the Big Dipper. Now, you got the 4 stars that make the cup of the Big Dipper, and then 3 stars that make the handle. Out of those 3 stars, the center one of that handle is actually a couple stars, and it looks like a snowman when you zoom in because you can see 2 stars, but I think the one is actually quadruple, the other one's like a binary, so that like 6 stars, I don't know. You only see like 2 looking like a snowman, so that's where we're going next, okay? We're going to the Big Dipper. I think it's Mizar and Alcor or something. All right, get your buddies. It's going dark for a second. Here we go. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. All right. All right. You're starting to see it's already looking a little weird. That one on top. Watch this. Right there. Little snowman. That's the middle of the handle of the Big Dipper. It's like Alcor and Mizar, I think, something like that. But there's a binary star, like a 2-star system, and a 4-star system, and then both systems are kind of connected through like gravity a little bit. So technically, there's a 6-star system there. Could you imagine having 6 sunrises or 6 suns around you every day? Wouldn't that be wild? It's like some Luke Skywalker stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's in the middle of the Big Dipper up there. And that's in the north. You guys been able to see the Big Dipper lately? It's really prominent in the like northwestern sky after sunset. And it sets, I think, maybe not. It probably just curves down by the horizon because it all spins around the North Star Polaris up there. All right, we're headed back to the moon. See you later, snowman. Wait, let's see if we can zoom in a little further and defocus that, see what that, ooh, look at that. It's like, whoa, what's going on, dude? All right, cool. Let's get back to Luna. Hey, Ray. All right, going back to the moon. Everybody got their buddies in the spaceship? Here we go. There, and we arrived back in our solar system with Luna, and we are going to zoom in and say hello. There we go. We're back around Earth. How was it? We traveled what? 37 light years to Arcturus. How many light years away is the Alcor Mizar thing in the Big Dipper? Anybody look that up? I bet that's pretty far. I bet it's like 90. We had a big trip right there. You know, that was a long trip. The sun is already set. I can't zoom in on it. Luna is a babe. All right. Up here is looking really cool tonight. Now you can see the atmospheric disturbance up there along the edge, that waviness. That's just because it's low on the horizon. Kind of like looking across a desert or something. You're just looking through a lot of atmosphere. Where things straight up in the sky, you don't have that issue as much, unless it's really muggy out. Looks like you're looking through water. Yeah. You're looking through a lot of gas, that's for sure. What kind of telescope? This is an 8-inch Dobsonian. The make and model is Orion XT8. Orion is no longer in operation. So comparable models is just an 8-inch Dobsonian. Celestron makes them, Apertura makes them. You can find them. And in my profile, you can find all my information of the gear I use. I have a telescope buying guide. I have a website, which if you go to the website, like I have tabs for the latest in space news, the current moon distance from the center of Earth, the phase, and what constellation it's in. I think right now, is it Capricorn, Sagittarius? I forget where it is right now. But I have all that stuff, and the sun, what's going on with the sun, are we going to have auroras, and as well as a shop, and a lot of information on there. We also have a Discord community, if anybody's interested in that. You can find all that information in on my channel page here on YouTube. Why is the moon slowly shifting away? Great question. I asked that right when I first looked at the moon through a telescope. And the answer is, the Earth is spinning. At first I was like, oh, the moon's orbiting Earth, right? Well, it is very slowly every 29.3 days. Ooh, did you guys see that? That was a bird. We can call it a UFO or Superman though. The moon is orbiting Earth very slowly, but it's orbiting Earth in the same direction that Earth is rotating. So the movement you're seeing is us spinning. We're moving. So like here, we're looking at the moon, which is relatively close, a few 100,000 miles away or whatever, right? 250,000 miles on average or whatever. But if we were to be looking at Saturn, which is much further away, I have to zoom in more. So see how like right now the moon is moving across the screen, but the time it takes to go across is probably what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? But for Saturn, I have to be zoomed in like this. So now tell me how long it takes for something to go across the screen. You're talking what, 15 seconds? Max, maybe 10? So when we're looking at Saturn, Saturn's just cruising across the screen because we're zoomed way in. But you don't notice it because it's not big and bright like the moon from your perspective watching the live. But we are super magnified in when we do Saturn. I want to do Saturn with you guys on here. The problem is I'm not able to dim properly, but let me see if I can see it. Yeah, it's not up yet. I think it's close though. Yeah, it's not quite up yet. Saturn's not up yet. It should be rising any minute though. Hello, hi guys. Where's everybody tuning in from? My name's Nate, and you were looking at a live view of the moon through a large telescope. This is an Orion XT8 8-inch Dobsonian. Now they do make even bigger telescopes. They make like 36-inch Dobsonians. Those are insane. Eventually, I'm gonna get one. Right now I have the 8-inch, and it just gives incredible views live of the moon. And most of the planets, like Mars, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter, but Uranus and Neptune are really difficult on this telescope. Those you're better off with like binoculars to just kind of like see it like a little dot, or do astrophotography tracking. Now this telescope doesn't automatic track and stuff like that. So I'm doing all this manually and readjusting as the moon moves out of frame. I'm in Pennsylvania in the United States. Near Niagara? Nice. Thought Saturn was a Sega console. I had the Sega Saturn. I did. Did you? Man, that's some old school stuff. Just got my sub. Nice. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the live, guys. Every little bit helps, and the best way to support the channel is just give me a like and a follow, subscription, or subscribe thing. Thank you guys for being here. Hope you're enjoying this. San Francisco, awesome. Love this. I'm glad, McClown. You saw Saturn in the daytime. And I said BS, but there it was, smitten after that. You can track Jupiter through the day if you're already locked on it, but it's going to be nearly impossible to find if you're not already tracking it pre-dawn. Saturn, you can kind of do that with. It's really tricky. Hello from England. Nice. India. No aliens yet. Is the moon really moving that fast? No, we are. Earth is rotating that fast. If we were on the sun, it'd be almost the same speed. They're pretty close, but during an eclipse, you can see the difference in their speeds. Basically, the moon drags behind the sun. So during the phases, the sun eventually catches back up to the moon and passes the moon every month or every 29 days. North Carolina, nice. Thanks for the likes, guys. Do you show more than the moon on your channel? Absolutely, I show tons of things. Nice shot. It just depends on time of year and what's visible. London, Baltimore, Detroit, Mexico. Mars already set, Russia, Pontiac, Michigan, Macedonia, Austin, London, Toronto. Welcome in, guys. Ooh, did you guys see that? There's a bird. I don't think it came back. That was real far away. Australia, Albania, Texas, nice. There's that atmospheric disturbance there. That's really cool. I love the way that looks, you know. So cool. India. And be sure to share this out to anybody, my channel out, or this live out to anybody that, you know, like loves the moon and space stuff. Mid-Michigan, nice. Caribbean. So awesome. Italy, welcome in. You guys enjoy? Can you guys hear the peepers okay? I don't know how YouTube audio works on these mobiles. If the audio is, sometimes the audio is kind of a little off. I want to make sure it's not off for you guys. There we go. Can I zoom more? Yeah, I can zoom more. I'm just resetting my phone right now. It got a little weird. There you go. At a certain point, the clarity goes down, and you're just blowing up pixels, though. So let me see what I can do this way. Yeah, I'm maxed out there. So we probably want to get that blue off the top. That's what was going on. And we'll zoom in like a lot up here. All right. See? A lot of atmospheric disturbance, so it's tough to get in much closer than that. But it looks like it's just like totally going bonkers. Pretty cool, though. I think that stuff looks cool. It's really crispy when it's high in the sky though, but we have a really low moon this cycle. Telescope is an Orion XT8 Dobsonian. I have a bunch of telescopes. I have like a smart telescope. I have like an astrophotography setup. Oh, there's a tree right there. I have an astrophotography setup and that one is like a little travel scope and binoculars. And then I have like the 8SC 8-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain tracking telescope that thing's pretty cool. And I might do some lives with that soon. Because it's like, I don't know. It's just really good with planets. All right, we might need to move the scope. Let me go see the trajectory of this tree right now. Yeah, we're gonna move. All right, everybody, hang tight. Just gotta move the telescope to get away from the tree. It'll buy us another 15 minutes or so. The moon is so low, we're running into trees. There we go. And we're back. Hope that was all right. Let's zoom in. There we go. To zoom into stuff like the rovers and the flags and the stuff left on the moon, you would need the world's largest telescope that doesn't exist. Or you just do a space telescope. We got the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter that's up there, orbiting the moon. That does a good job. Thanks for liking the live, guys. That really helps. If you like space stuff, give me a follow. I do go live frequently. I might be taking a little bit of a break here and resetting for Saturn in a little bit. Hey, Justin. Neptune with the naked eye, maybe, if you have like really good eyesight and super dark skies. Even then, it's going to be barely visible. You definitely want like binoculars or telescopes, something to magnify the view. Thank you, Seven. Thank you, guys. Be right back. Sorry about that, guys. All right. My bad. My bad. Okay. Sorry if I missed some of your questions, guys. Telescopes can only see so far, depending on the size of the telescope. This is an 8-inch Dobsonian. It has its limitations, as well as our atmosphere limitates what we can see from ground-based telescopes. Now, to see stars, constellations, or nebulas, star clusters, galaxies, those are massive things. Those are huge. And when we pick them up, we're just seeing like the little stars and galaxies and stuff. We're not seeing like details on the surface of anything, you know? But with the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, that's orbiting the moon. It's gotten pictures of the landing sites and stuff, which is pretty cool. It doesn't have to fight through an atmosphere to look out. And to see the atmosphere in action, look at the wobbly view right now as the moon is low to the horizon. See how everything's wavy? That's what you're fighting against. You get outside our atmosphere up in space, you can get some amazing shots. That's where like Hubble, James Webb, stuff like that are getting such amazing images. Now, Vera C. Rubin telescope just went in Chile. That thing is a digital one mapping a 10-year time lapse of the southern night sky, southern hemisphere. And that thing is 3,200 megapixels. The thing's gigantic. It's pretty incredible. You guys should look up the images it's getting. Pretty amazing. But they put those on top of mountains, so they have less atmosphere to get through, and there's in areas that don't have a lot of clouds. But that telescope costs a lot more than mine. Looks like a building in the crater. Can we see Venus or Mercury through your telescope tonight? No, not tonight. Maybe in the morning, if I'm up early, I can capture Venus though. It comes up just before the sun. Depends on the time of year what you can see in the night sky, you know? You can't always see everything. But tonight we got a great view of the moon. The moon is going to be first quarter, which it'll appear like half moon tomorrow morning. And if you look on the right side here, you can still see the other half of the moon there in shadow. And that is illuminated a little bit by the sunlight reflecting off Earth, up to the moon, illuminating a little bit. Pretty cool, right? Saturn is, I'm not seeing it yet. I'm seeing the two stars that point to it, but Saturn is literally in the trees on the horizon. So I'm going to try to do Saturn maybe in a little bit. Like take a break from this and then we'll go see Saturn here in a little while, probably in about 2 hours. It'll be up high enough because you want something like Saturn to be up around like 30 degrees up. So that might be closer to 1 a.m. my time, which would be like 3 hours. Because then it's out of this wibble-wobby like you're seeing here on the moon. Because when we're on Saturn, we're zoomed in like this, okay? We're zoomed in like that. So you can imagine how bad that distortion is close to the horizon. Makes it really hard to see anything on the planets. So you want the planets to get up in the sky a little bit. The moon does pretty well close to the horizon. The gear I'm using, telescope is an Orion XT8, 8-inch Dobsonian. Eyepiece is a Celestron 8 to 24 millimeter zoom eyepiece. And then I have a Tridaptor phone mount and an iPhone 14. I think this is the 14 Pro Max. I have a few iPhones. This one does a pretty good job on the moon. And if you're liking this tonight, consider subscribing, maybe like the live, and maybe share this to somebody who loves space. My name's Nate. I do space and live astronomy content. I post videos and I go live. And whenever I have clear skies, I try to show you whatever we can see. Satellites, we might see one go across the moon. It's approaching that western edge where we see a lot. We see a lot of satellites go across the moon. Not necessarily like this is a little further off to the west, but if we were south, but if we were aimed a little more west, man, we see them a ton at sunset. Certain times of the year where the moon is setting a little more over that way, and the sun's going a little more to the north, like the satellites, it's like every couple minutes we'll see one cross the moon and stuff. I have lots of videos of satellites crossing the moon. And I've chased the ISS with this telescope. It just looks like a bright star moving pretty fast. We've seen planes go across, birds, weird orbs, you know, all that stuff. It's all posted. You want to check out my channel. Saw a shooting star last night, followed by yeah, tonight there's a double meteor shower. Now I'm looking for them right now because it's dark enough. But after, probably best is going to be around midnight local year times. It's peaking. The one is peaking tonight or last night, but the one is like in the northern hemisphere and the other one's more in the southern hemisphere. But you can still see some of those from the northern hemisphere. But the one in the north is like 5 an hour. But these are slow moving, like long tail fireball meteors tonight in the northern hemisphere. So if you get to see any, oh, let me know. There's not a lot of them, but if you're just laying out, checking out the night sky, it's summer here in the States. Just check it out. You'll see them. They're amazing. I'm in Pennsylvania, Joe, or John. What is the telescope called exactly? 8-inch Dobsonian, Orion SkyQuest XT8 Dobsonian Reflector Telescope is the full name. But Orion is no longer in operation, so you can't really get one of these from the manufacturer anymore. So you have to go with like a comparable model, which would be an 8-inch Dobsonian telescope, would be similar to this. And then I have a bunch of telescopes, but this one's probably my favorite to go live with because like you saw me, I could just pick it up, move it. We can jump around. I can point to things. And it's manual. So like you get to see the movement of Earth, our rotation with the movement of the moon there. I like that. Where if I just had the tracker locked on the moon, it'd be like, okay, the moon's not moving. It looks like a poster. Now that's good for eclipses because then you have the moon locked and you get to watch that eclipse shadow kind of move across or the solar eclipse stuff, which I've done. I did the total solar eclipse last year from the line of totality in Ohio. It was an amazing time. That was just amazing. Anybody here see the total solar eclipse last year? And then we just did the lunar eclipse not too long ago. I don't have Saturn yet. No, it's still below a tree line behind me, real close to the horizon. I'll probably come back. I'll probably come back on in like a couple hours for Saturn once it's up high enough to actually give you a clear view of it. Because while it's low to the horizon, it's going to be really wibble wobbled. You drove 5 hours? Nice. Yeah? Okay, a lot of you saw the eclipses. All right. We're gonna say good night to the moon, and I'm gonna be back here on YouTube here in, I don't know, a couple hours or something with Saturn. So I want to give you guys a nice screenshot before I go, and we'll see you soon, all right? There's a good screenshot. All right, guys, we'll see you soon. You guys are the best. You guys on YouTube, you're my favorite. Just remember that. Except for the one guy giving me a hard time tonight. Thanks for the subs, guys. Yeah, if you like space stuff, be sure to subscribe and like this live. It helps the channel grow. We're only getting started. All right, we'll see you soon. Oh, thank you guys. There's that tree.